Before us is Father Dr. Ambrose Bwangato, the Pastoral Coordinator of the Archdiocese of Kampala. You are most welcome. He is the one who harmonizes the pastoral duties in the Archdiocese. On extreme right is Father Dr. Ronald Chigozi, a specialist in bioethics, and our guest speaker on artificial intelligence. Father, you are most welcome. And in interest of time, I'll kindly and warmly welcome our Archbishop to give us a keynote address about artificial intelligence and the mind of the Archdiocese of Kampala. You are most welcome, Your Grace.
Thank you. Thank you, Father Mchivi. Welcome to you all, dear brothers and sisters, and I would like to thank you very heartily for sacrificing the public holiday. I hope you have been counted, because it is important for our country that we are counted to know how many we are and what services that we need and what services we can give as individuals and as a nation. But I would like to thank you very much for being able to come and join us. Secondly, I would like to apologize that you have kept you for some time, and asked Father Muchi whether he was able to give you something to drink or eat. In the meantime, he said there was nothing. You don't know what it's going to do for you, because you need to eat and survive. Thirdly, I also apologize that as soon as I finish, I'll be here for a moment, short time, after this keynote address to you, because I have got another function immediately starting. So please bear with me. It's not boycotting, but it's because I have other duties. Then I welcome Father Dr. Gozi in our midst. Thank you for sparing us time for this very important topic of artificial intelligence. In his message to the World Day of Peace on 1st of January this year, Pope Francis talked about this in his message, which I'm sure Father Chigozi will be able to explore with you. The world today is faced with rapidly emerging global issues such as whole brain emulation, immigration restrictions, people cannot travel easily like they would, spread of false ideas on social media, science policy and infrastructure, high coverage ways to speed up economic growth, and these constantly need careful examination to suit and enhance the life of humanity. The immediate yet sensitive theme of our reflection this afternoon, as humanity and Catholic Christians at the same time, is the issue of artificial intelligence. And this wake-up call was given to us, particularly this year, on the first day of the year, in a message of His Holiness Pope Francis on the World Day of Peace. Artificial intelligence is the ability of a computer or computer-controlled robot to perform tasks that are commonly associated with intellectual processes, characteristic of humans, such as the ability to reason like human mind. The benefits of artificial intelligence are numerous, and they include reduction of human errors, with the artificial intelligence very accurate, increased accuracy and precision. It sometimes helps humans to overcome many risks by letting artificial intelligence robots to do for us. It can even warn you that there's danger ahead of you, things that would otherwise would have been very difficult for you to detect. It sometimes helps humans to overcome many risks by letting artificial intelligence robots to do for us. It facilitates digital assistance where humanity is inappropriate. Artificial intelligence aids humans in resolving the majority of challenging issues. Artificial intelligence facilitates us unbiased decisions. It eliminates repetition of tasks. It aids daily applications in internet. Some of the disadvantages of this artificial intelligence are also many, like high cost of maintenance. It bars humanity from creativity of human mind, and thus making us idle. Let the machine work, it should do its work, or man's work. Unemployment, of course. Robots do most of the work. They can cover a square mile and give that work in very few minutes, which would have been covered by so many people and get employed. As I said, it makes humanity lazy. Sometimes absence of ethics because it doesn't reason, no emotional intelligence at all. Today is the census day, but I've heard that some of the gadgets that have been used have been slow and have impeded the work that would have started early. And when you said, why are you slow? Why are you not doing the work? Because the gadgets are not working. And therefore, our brains are dead because the gadgets are not working. So, in our opinion, creativity is the potential lack of originality and authenticity. While artificial intelligence systems can mimic existing styles and patterns, there is an ongoing debate about whether artificial intelligence can truly possess creativity in the same sense of humans. These are artificial, and God created a human person. Artificial intelligence generated works may lack the depth, emotional connection, and unique perspective that comes from human experiences and emotions. These artificial intelligences will not tell me, oh sorry, Bishop, I knocked you, just because there's no humanity in it, and no human feelings and emotions in them. This year, Pope Francis devotes the message for the World Social Communications Day towards the development of systems of artificial intelligence which are radically affecting the world of information and communication, and through it, certain foundations of life in society. These changes affect everyone. The rapid spread of astonishing innovations whose workings and potential are beyond the ability of most of us to understand and appreciate have proven both exciting and disorienting. This leads inevitably to deeper questions about the nature of human beings, our distinctiveness, and the future of this species in the age of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence could help and assist humanity in various fields. However, we should guard against the risk of becoming rich in technology and poor in humanity, eroding human dignity and autonomy. In order to follow Christ, we are guided and propelled by love of God and neighbor, which artificial intelligence does not possess. So this symposium is meant, therefore, to enlighten the public and the people of God as we approach the World Day of Communications next Sunday on the mind of the Church on artificial intelligence and love of God, love of humanity, relations and connections as social beings created in the image of God. Thank you for coming. I invite very warmly Father Dr. Ronald Chigozi to substantiate the essence of artificial intelligence and the mind and the teaching of the Church on my behalf.
Your Grace.
As I already apologized, I may not be able to spend.
Thank you so much, Your Grace, for having given me the mandate and this opportunity to enlighten the public on that very important topic of artificial intelligence. The Holy Father, Pope Francis, dedicated his papal message on the 58th World Day of Social Communications to the theme of artificial intelligence and the wisdom of the heart, and encouraged us to explain to God's people about this two-sided technology, about its impact on humanity and social communications in particular, and how best we can use it for a fully human communication. His Grace, in his keynote address, has defined for us what artificial intelligence is and has told us some of the benefits of artificial intelligence and some of the ethical challenges of that technology. But I will redefine it again, because that is one of the questions that we ask ourselves, that our public asks itself. What is that animal called artificial intelligence? It is a branch of computers that deals with the creation of intelligent agents, which are systems that can reason, that can learn, and that can act autonomously. It develops effective techniques for solving a wide range of problems, from game playing. There are machines that can play video games. There are machines and robots that can play chess, for example. And those of you who watch football, there's what they call VAR that they use to verify whether a goal has been scored or it has not been scored. Artificial intelligence is also normally used in medical diagnosis and so many other uses as they have been elaborated by His Grace in his keynote address. But I will go straight to the message of the Pope on artificial intelligence, because that is the topic of our discussion. Artificial intelligence in scientific literature is termed as machine learning, teaching machines what to do. So according to the Pope Francis, the use of the term intelligence is quite misleading, because though machines have greater capacity to store and correlate data, it is humans alone who can make sense out of that data. It is humans who can reason. It is us humans who have sentiments, who have creativity, who have intuition, who have emotions, desires, feelings, common sense, emotional intelligence, thinking. All these are virtues that can be attributed only to a human being. We cannot attribute them to a machine. So you cannot call a machine an intelligent machine. So the Pope suggests that we change the name and call them machine learning instead of calling them artificial intelligence. Because machines have no wisdom. And according to the Pope, true wisdom cannot be sought from machines. We cannot relinquish our power to these machines. In communication, machines are just an extension of the spoken word, just like the artifact, for example, is an extension of the arm. So they should be a support, but not a replacement of a thinking human being. That is the key argument of the Pope, that machines should not replace the thinking human being. They are supposed to be used as a support. For example, we have these microphones, and it is not the microphones that are speaking. It is His Grace, it is me who is speaking using these machines as instruments. So they are supposed to be used as a support, not a replacement of a thinking human being. Now, the other question that the public may ask itself is, why did the Pope choose artificial intelligence for this year's theme? There are two reasons he gives. One, the Pope says that technology in general is already with us. We cannot do away with it. That's why we are all having phones, we have all these machines, and we are followed everywhere through the machines that we are having. So they are already here with us. We cannot do away with them. That's the first reason as to why he chose this theme for this World Communications Day. Secondly, the Pope says that we are constantly in the process of becoming. A human being is constantly in the process of becoming. For example, last year I was weighing 70 kilograms. And this year I weigh 72 kilograms. 5 years ago, we were 5 years less in age. Today, you are 5 years more. So we are in a process of becoming. And we must enter into this process, each in his or her own way, with openness, but also with sensitivity to everything that is destructive and inhumane. So those are the two reasons as to why we cannot do away with artificial intelligence. It is already here with us, and we must open up to this process of becoming. We are always undergoing change. Now, what is the mind of the Catholic Church on the issue of artificial intelligence? The Catholic Church's view on artificial intelligence reflects both the potential benefits and ethical challenges this technology presents. And some of its potential benefits include promoting human flourishing. Artificial intelligence could be used to address global challenges like poverty, hunger, and disease, thus aligning with the Church's commitment to social justice. For example, artificial intelligence-powered agriculture tools could optimize crop yields and food distribution. And artificial intelligence-driven medical diagnostics could improve healthcare access in undeserved communities. Today, with artificial intelligence, when you go to the hospital and you have a problem with your heart, in most developed hospitals, they no longer open your body. In the past, they used to open your chest in order to have access to your heart. Today, they use intravenous techniques to to go up to your heart without opening. They just put a small hole somewhere in your body and they reach your heart and they carry out an operation. So all that is done by artificial intelligence in the medical field, in the agriculture field, in the education field. Secondly, artificial intelligence is used in enhancing human capabilities. Artificial intelligence could assist humans in various fields, from scientific research to education. For example, it could help scientists in complex data analysis and in personalized learning platforms, tailoring education to individual needs. Artificial intelligence systems can help overcome ignorance and facilitate the exchange of information between different peoples and generations. For example, it helps us understand written knowledge from past ages, interpreting the past knowledge. There are machines that have been drafted for that. You just introduce it to a library of knowledge and it carries out the interpretation of that knowledge. It is useful to individuals who do not share a common language. There are common, timely language translators in international conferences. For example, when you go to a conference, for example, in Beijing, and you don't understand their language, they can speak in Chinese, and those machines can translate timely the message that is being transmitted in the language that you understand. So all those are uses of artificial intelligence. It is also used in protecting the environment. So artificial intelligence could contribute to environmental sustainability by optimizing resource management, developing renewable energy sources, and monitoring ecological changes. But the above benefits are, however, not privy of ethical concerns, and some of the ethical concerns being raised by the Catholic Church include the following: being used as a source of cognitive pollution to transmit fake news. For example, the words of the Archbishop can be placed on my mouth, and it appears like I'm the one speaking, yet it is the Archbishop speaking. All that can be done using artificial intelligence. People today employ what they call deep fakes. For example, the creation and diffusion of fake images of a person or audio messages that use a person's voice to say things which that person actually never said. Those of you who have WhatsApp, some time ago, they removed the head of the Pope and placed it on the body of Putin, the president of Russia. And it seemed like it was the Pope speaking the words that were being spoken by Putin. So all that can be done through artificial intelligence. So that is called cognitive pollution. So this technology of simulation can be useful in certain specific fields, but it becomes perverse when it distorts our relationships with others and with reality. That bishop also mentioned job displacement. Automation through artificial intelligence could lead to job losses, particularly in repetitive tasks. And the Church emphasizes the importance of decent work and calls for responsible artificial intelligence development that prioritizes human well-being over economic gain. So the ethical challenges that are related with artificial intelligence are so many that we cannot finish them here. It is these challenges that have pushed Pope Francis to intervene on several occasions on the issue of artificial intelligence. For example, his 2018 message for Social Communications Day was that truth will make you free, and he quoted John chapter 18 verse 32. And He says fake news and journalism should be avoided. Fake news should be avoided in journalism. That was 2018. And in his apostolic exhortation, Christus Vivit of 2019, the Pope briefly mentioned artificial intelligence, calling for its use to serve humanity and not replace human relationships. So it should be a support, not a replacement. In 2021, his message was encountering persons where and how they are. In 2022, the Pope's message was hearing with the ear of the heart and speaking to the heart. In 2023, that is last year, his World Day message was calling for an international treaty to regulate artificial intelligence, warning of the risks of weaponization, and emphasizing the need to ensure that artificial intelligence is used for the common good and for the promotion of peace. This year's message, Artificial Intelligence and the Wisdom of the Heart towards a fully human communication, takes up all the preceding themes. In her call to action, therefore, the Catholic Church, vis-à-vis artificial intelligence, calls for human-centered development. So the Pope urges that artificial intelligence development prioritizes human well-being and the common good. This means ensuring that artificial intelligence serves humanity instead of replacing humanity and his thinking capacity. Secondly, setting up of ethical guidelines. The Pope encourages the development of ethical frameworks for artificial intelligence development. These frameworks should address issues like transparency, accountability, and fairness, ensuring artificial intelligence is used responsibly and that it benefits everyone. So the Pope also encourages open dialogue. And I think that's why the head of communications in Kampala Archdiocese, together with our Archbishop, organized this kind of symposium so that we can dialogue about the issue of artificial intelligence. As the Pope says, it is already here with us. So we just need to find a way of dealing with it. So he encourages open dialogue, and the Church promotes that inclusive and open dialogue, involving theologians, scientists, policymakers, and the public. This dialogue is crucial for navigating the ethical complexities of artificial intelligence and ensuring that its development aligns with human values. So the Catholic Church recognizes the potential of artificial intelligence to contribute to a better world, but also warns against its potential pitfalls. By prioritizing human well-being, upholding ethical principles, and fostering open dialogue, the Church can help shape artificial intelligence development in a way that benefits the whole of humanity. Therefore, the core principles of human dignity, social justice, and responsible stewardship of technology remain central to the Church's message regarding artificial intelligence. Now, what is the proposed way forward that we can draw from the Pope's message of this year? How can we deal with artificial intelligence? The way forward proposed by the Pope this year is that of beginning with the wisdom of the heart. Beginning with the wisdom of the heart in dealing with artificial intelligence. The common thinking in today's technological era and highly pluralistic society is that everything can be regulated by civil laws. That's why, for example, when the traders begin to riot, the first thing that the parliament will think of is to sit and draft laws to govern those traders. When the medical personnel riot, the first thing they think of is to sit down and draft laws to govern the medical personnel. So today's society thinks of solving problems using civil laws. We therefore end up instrumentalizing and reducing everything to a functional sense. The Pope reminds us that beyond civil laws, there is what we call the natural law, an order inscribed upon physical and social realities to help humanity do good and avoid evil, and thus do God's will. And that is what the Pope refers to as the wisdom of the heart. You can call it the natural law, you can call it the conscience, that voice that is within each one of us that tells you to do good and avoid evil. Those of you who have ever stolen will bear witness with me that before you go to steal, inside you, you feel two voices. One voice is telling you, you go ahead and steal because you need that, what you're going to steal. Now, for us, we call that the voice of the devil. Then the other voice is telling you, stealing is bad. When you steal, they are going to catch you and maybe they will imprison you. Now, that is the voice of God. That is the natural law. That is the conscience. That is the right voice that we are supposed to keep listening to in trying to do good and avoid evil. And that is what the Pope is reminding us to do when he says we should go back to the wisdom of the heart instead of thinking of solving everything using civil laws. This generation seems to be getting rich in technology, like the Archbishop said, and poor in humanity. Spirituality and true freedom are no longer considered values. That's why you see there is a lot of mob justice. That's why you envisage the misuse of social media, the rigging of elections using technology, fake news. There are so many things that are happening today that portray the loss of that wealth, that human wealth that we are supposed to have, that wealth of the heart, that wisdom of the heart. For example, 2 weeks ago on WhatsApp, there was an image that was circulating of the feet of a human being. This man was stealing, he was caught stealing, and the people who caught him decided to cut off his feet. So they placed those feet there and photographed them. They were scary because seeing the feet of a human person without the whole human person, and that action has been performed by human beings, all these portray the kind of humanity that we are having today. That's why the Pope says that today's world is rich in technology and poor in humanity. So he says that we need to rediscover the language of the heart for a fully human communication. He quotes Cardinal Henry Newman, who says, "Call ad cor loquitur." The heart speaks to the heart. So we need to regain those values. And in the Bible, the heart is seen as the place of freedom and decision making. It symbolizes integrity and unity, but it also engages our emotions, desires, dreams. It is above all the inward place of our encounter with God, the heart. So wisdom of the heart is the virtue that enables us to integrate the whole and its parts. Our decisions and their consequences, our nobility and our vulnerability, our past and our future, our individuality and our membership within a larger community. So that is the wisdom of the heart that the Pope calls upon us to return to. This wisdom of the heart lets itself be seen and found by those who love and seek it. The Pope quotes the Book of Wisdom, chapter 6, verses 12 to 16, and the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 10. And he further says that that wisdom enables us to look at things with God's eyes. Without this wisdom, life becomes bitter. Such wisdom cannot be sought from machines. It can only be possessed by a human person who is made in God's image and likeness, and who is composed of the body and the soul. Now, depending on the inclination of the heart, everything within our reach can become a threat or an opportunity. For example, our bodies, created for communication and communion, can become an instrument of aggression. Artificial intelligence can become a means of loving service or hostile dominion, depending on the way we want to approach it. The Pope further says that we need to propose models of ethical regulation. The use of discriminatory systems of artificial intelligence that create forms of groupthink, polarizing public opinion, should be combated. I think you will bear with me that most of our masses no longer think for themselves. For example, a fake news can be circulated over social media, and everybody believes that. Very few people think through what they see on social media. So the Pope advises us to avoid group thinking. The international community should work together in order to adopt a binding international treaty that regulates the development and use of artificial intelligence in its many forms. The Pope promotes growth in humanity. He encourages the promotion of growth in humanity. That is, avoid reducing individuals to data. Avoid reducing thinking to a mechanical process, and reducing goodness to profit. The digital revolution should not imprison us to what is today known as echo chambers or group thinkers, says the Pope, at the expense of our thinking. And here I quoted a philosopher called Boethius, who defined a human person as an individual substance of a rational nature. So each of us is an individual substance of a rational nature, and we should never give up on our rationality or capacity to think, giving that capacity to machines, because they are only machines. So artificial intelligence should be a help and not a substitution of our thinking capacities, says the Pope. So those are two important words: help and replacement or substitution. For example, I have this phone. If I substitute it for my thinking capacity, it means I cannot live without this phone. And you will bear witness with me that there are some people who can no longer live without a phone. Some people who can no longer spend a day without switching on their phones. So the Pope says that these machines and artificial intelligence are good, but they should be used as a help, not a substitution of the thinking human being. And the Pope leaves us with the following questions for our reflection. He says, how do we safeguard professionalism and the dignity of both the workers and users of artificial intelligence in the fields of information and communication in the whole world? So, safeguarding professionalism. How can we do that with the current status of artificial intelligence? The second question, how do we make businesses that develop digital platforms plus editors of traditional communication media, plus making editors of traditional communication media accept their responsibilities with regard to the content of the message they communicate? How can we do that? The third question for reflection from from the Holy Father. How do we make transparent the criteria governing the operations of algorithms? What are algorithms? These are rules or signals and data that govern the platform operations. How do we govern that? The fourth question, how do we guarantee the transparency of information processing? The fifth question, how do we make it clear whether an image or video that is being portrayed on the different social media platforms is simulated or is the truth? How do we make it clear? Because most images are simulations of the true image. The sixth question, how do we prevent sources from being reduced to one alone, thus fostering a single approach developed on the basis of an algorithm? How do we instead promote an environment suitable for preserving pluralism and portraying the complexity of reality? The last question that the Holy Father leaves us, how can we make sustainable a technology so powerful, costly, and energy consuming? And how can we make it accessible also to developing countries? Because most of these technologies that we are talking about are not being controlled by here in developing countries. They are still in the developed countries. But how can we make these technologies accessible? Because humanity is the same. Those in Europe, those in Africa, we are on the same level of humanity, regardless of the color. So how do we make it accessible to everybody? And the Pope says that the answers we give to these questions will determine whether artificial intelligence will end up creating new castes based on access to information and thus give rise to new forms of exploitation and inequality. It is from the way we answer these questions that we can either glimpse a new form of slavery or envision a new form of freedom. These are two other key words. He says that artificial intelligence can either condemn us to slavery or to freedom, depending on the way we choose to use it. Either a select few will condition the thought of others, or all people will participate in the development of thought. In all, we need to seek the wisdom that was there before all things, as we read in the book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 4. And it will help us put the systems of artificial intelligence at the service of human communication. And that requires freedom of thought across generations. The young should learn from the old, and the old should learn from the young, so that we move together to embrace this new wave of artificial intelligence that is here. It will not go back. So we just need to find a way of embracing it and dealing with it as humans, as intelligent humans. Thank you so much, Your Grace, for this opportunity. Now, I give the microphone back to the head of communications.
N'abatugoberera mu lukuŋŋaana luno kitaffe Ssaabasumba lwe yayise okunnyonnyola ekigambo kino ekya artificial intelligence. Ssaabasumba bwe yakitunnyonnyodde ate n'omukulu nga bw'atulambise, kye kino mwe tuli, mwe tutambulira era mwe tubeera mu bulamu bwaffe. Ekigambo kye njagala okwongerako oba okwongera okukkaatiriza okutya okungi ennyo kati kwe tulina mu ekereziya ne mu ggwanga okutwaliza awamu kiri ku okusaasaanya obulimba ate n'okulimbisa, okusaasaanya obulimba ate n'okulimbisa abantu. Omukulu atunnyonnyodde nti tulina emigaso mingi nnyo era ffenna tugyenyumiririzaamu, naye ate okutya okungi okuliwo mu budde buno kuli mu okusaasaanya obulimba ate n'okukola ki n'okulimba kwe okuva mu kye bayita deep fake nti mu nsangi zino bakwata ekifaananyi ekyo kyennyini ne bakigetaageta n'osigala nga yeggwe naye nga tesi yeggwe n'oyogera ebintu n'okola ebintu bye basobola okusaasaanya mu nsi ne biraga nti nno gw'obikola ki gw'obisaasaanyiza mu mawanga mangi era ndowooza kye tugenda n'okusaba gavumenti ya Uganda to invest more in protecting society against deep fakes oba fake news. Nti if there is a video that is saturating with fake news, that it can be printed with fake, that watermark fake, so that the people are protected and secured from lies. One of the fears of this age, where we are now, it's all about now fake news, about misrepresentation, misinformation, and propaganda. Prime Minister was made to look like he was promoting a certain company. And it was himself speaking on a podium. But this was because of the deep fake. So the government had to come in quickly to label that video as fake. And the government had to commit a certain amount of money, millions of dollars, to counter this kind of misinformation or misrepresentation, which can lead the people of God to make decisions that could be unwarranted. We are looking forward, I'm sorry to bring in this topic, we are going forward, or we are approaching an election season in 1 year, or 1 year and a half, or in 2 years. And if we don't already address this issue, and for you, the people of the media fraternity, to address this issue of deep fakes or misinformation or misrepresentation, we are going to have a lot of lies, and we are going to have many people, responsible people, being made to speak things which they have not said because of this what? This artificial intelligence. Since each one of you, I think, I'm just presuming, you are very conversant with all these apps like TikTok or Chatbox or ChatGPT. They are really very good, but at the same time, there can be a lot of lies that can be perpetuated by such apps. So that's why the church, because the church wants to safeguard the truth, the church wants to safeguard the dignity of the human person. People should not be taken just for granted. Okay? People should not be taken for granted. That's why the church comes up to address at timely points, to address such issues, to safeguard the sanity and to safeguard the dignity and integrity of the human person. That's all that I can. Lwaki Kereziya evuddeyo mu budde buno? Kereziya tevuddeyo mu budde buno, but this is a part of the church's perennial teaching. Mwawulidde Father yabadde ajja nnyonnyola nti okuva mu mwaka 2018 Papa Francis azze ayogera ku nsonga eno ng'atuyigiriza. Kati wane ewaffe mpozi mu budde buno lwekikoze eki lwekitandise okuvaayo, era ndowooza omukulu owa social communication w'ekitongole ekyo agenda kubanga mu mabanga amagere nga ayongera okutuyigiriza n'okutubuulira ebigenda mu maaso. Lwaki Kereziya evuddeyo mu budde buno? kati ate ne gufuukira ddala omulamwa ogw'okusobola okwebuulirirako n'okulowoozaako n'okubeera ekyokuyiga. Kubanga kirabise mu nsi yonna, si wano wokka ne mu nsi yonna, nti emikutu gino gye tuyita mugattabantu nga tukozesa ebyuma byekalimagezi bitukoze ffe ng'abantu, njagadde nnyo ekigambo kya kibishopu, ebikolerere, kubanga omukozi owannamaddala ye Katonda. Okay? The perfect creator is God. Humans create things but they are not so perfect. Kwe kubiyita ebiki? Ebikolerere. Kati ebintu bino mu budde buno kyeyolese nti bitandise okugenda nga biyingira mu bulamu bw'abantu ennyo. Biyingidde nnyo mu bulamu bw'abantu. Ate nga bwe biyingira nnyo mu bulamu bw'abantu, ebirungi n'ebibi byonna abantu ne babikola ki? Ne babimira. Kati ekireetedde nti ebibi ate ne bitandika okufumyafumya obulamu bw'abantu. Naddala ebikwata ku kusaasaanya amawulire. Okusaasaanya amawulire, ate nga mulimu n'okusaasaanya obulimba, ate n'okulimbisa. Okulimbisa ebyuma. Okulimbisa ebyuma. I think that's a good... nga tukozesa okulimbisa ebyuma. Kubanga ebyuma bino, Papa yatugambye nti nandibadde tugamba nti ebyuma birina amagezi. Ne teri kyuma kirina amagezi. There is no machine that is intelligent. It's only human person who is intelligent. Omuntu yekka ye mugezi. Kati wano mu Uganda twetaaga era okukirowoozaako ennyo naddala mu budde buno, kati abantu batandise okubuguumirira. Abantu batandise okubuguumirira nga batunuulira ebyaki ebyokulonda. Kati tulina okwenyigira ennyo mu kumanya ebyuma bino engeri gye bisobola okukozesebwa okusaasaanya obulimba n'okulimbisa abantu abaki n'okulimbisa abantu abalala. Okugeza okukwata omuntu obuvunaanyizibwa nga Father Dr. Kigozi, yes. Ne bamuteekako ne bakwata eddoboozi lye, kubanga ebyuma bisobola okukwata eddoboozi lye lyennyini ne liteekamu ebigambo byakyo, n'alabikira ddala ng'ayogera naye ng'ate byayogera si biki, si bibye. Kati ku nsonga eno ekitongole ndowooza Uganda Communications Commission kyetaaga to invest in this area, nti ebintu byonna ebiri fake nga bisobola okuteekebwako stamp nti nno kino kiki, kino kiri fake, kino ekitambula ku mukutu guno kiri fake, akatambi akatambula ku mukutu guno kali fake, okusobola okukuuma abantu obutalya bulimba, obutamira bulimba. Okay? Obutamira bulimba. Kugamba obutayingiza buki, obutayingiza bulimba. Kubanga obulimba bukendeeza ekitiibwa ky'omuntu. Lies degrade a human person. Okugamba omuntu asobola okusigala nti nno ekintu kyasobola okuyingiza mu bulamu bwe ge mazima, kubanga amazima ge gatufuula abaki ab'eddembe.
Otume wessaala atwala omukisa.
Ekitiibwa kibe ekya Patri
n'ekya Mwana n'ekya Mwoyo Mutuukirivu, nga bwe kyali olw'era na kaakano ne bulijjo emirembe n'emirembe. Amiina.
Omukama abeere nammwe. Omukama abawe omukisa abakuume. Tunuliza amaaso amakakkamu abasaasire. Akyukire gye muli abawe emirembe. Omukisa gwa Katonda omuyinza buli kantu, Patri ne Mwana ne Mwoyo Mutuukirivu gubatuuke okusigala nammwe ennaku zonna. Thank you so much. May God bless you.